Hi guys, thank you for watching my video. Today I will explain you about the black pine new sprout cutting, why we do that, when we do that, how we do that. So check this video. Hello again. Today is a black pine new sprout cutting. Many people is saying this is a black pine pruning, but actually it's just only a cutting a new sprout. So new sprout cutting maybe the correct words to say, maybe, I don't know, check it out. Okay, like this video I am explaining about how to maintain the trees and how to do and showing exactly doing with my channel. So please go to my channel and subscribe and check the other videos too. Thank you. Alright, the first purpose cutting, why we do that. We cut the new sprout of the black pine in this season, maybe July. The reason is to make the leaves shorten. That's it, and that's everything. This is called tanyoho in Japanese, which means leaves shorten method, maybe, to make the leaves short. In the old days, there's no this method. People were giving only a few water and giving a few fertilizer to black pines to suppress the growth. So old people was still thinking that black pine will be dead when you water too many or give fertilizer too many, but that's a mistake in this is because there's good method which is called tanyoho to make leaves shorten. So we can give more fertilizer, we can do more watering and keep the pine very healthy and grow good. Then we can do this method. So that's a good thing. And there are more good thing you can get when you do the tanyoho. It is the black pine will have more new buds when you cut the sprout. When you cut the spot, new buds will come, but there will be 3 or 4 new buds in one cutting, so that you can get more new buds, so you can make the leaves and buds more in a very short time. It's a good thing, and you can keep the trees the shapes. If you leave it without cutting, the bud will be long and become the branch, and when the branch grows, just let it go. Then the trees start with the slide, so we cut it. We cut it this time and have a new sprout, small ones, so you can keep the shapes. And you can control the tree forces. By cutting a sprout, tree have to make the new sprout, but it's going to be a very small sprout when you cut in this season. If the trees have a very strong forces to going up, you cut it, the force will be pushed down and the tree can grow only a short, and you can keep the power inside the tree. You can make more branches and more leaves and more buds, and you can style a very small but tight and powerful trees with it. So this is a good thing to do. So many people just misunderstanding the tanyoho is to make more buds, to make a tree style. But first of all, this method is to make the leaves short. When you make the leaves short, you can do the other things with this small buds, so this is very important. Okay, now why will leaves be short by cutting a sprout? Ordinary plants will be active lively with a temperature between 20 degrees C to 25 degrees C. Fahrenheit thermometer, F thermometer 68 to 77, I guess. I checked by the website. So in this temperature, trees grows very fast and grows very nice, becomes very active. And when it goes over 30 degrees 86 F, growth speed will be slowly. And when it goes over 35 degrees 95 F, the black pine stops growth and start to bear for high temperature. But when it goes over 45 degrees C, it's 113 F, the black pine dead, I heard. I checked by the website, but this is never going to happen in the natural way, so you don't need to care. The important thing is to 20 to 25 degrees, the tree will be actively grow, and over 30, tree growth speed slow down, and 35 it stops. This is a very important place. So when it goes around 30 degrees and you cut the buds, the new buds will come in 2 weeks later or so, 1 week later or 2 weeks later. And it goes very slowly growing. When you do this in June, maybe in temperatures around 20 degrees to 25 degrees, you cut the buds, new one will become very first and it grows very first. So this will be a long leaves. This is not a good thing to do. It's a bad timing. So you better do that in a day, 2 weeks before it's getting more than 30 degrees. we like to have the bud very first in 1 week or 2 weeks. But when we have the buds, we need to grow very slowly, because when it goes slowly, the bud will be short and it will be more tight, and the leaves will be more short. And this is important. It's growing short and slowly, and it goes over the 35 degrees, the growth stops. So you can make a very short. This is the mechanism which we need to do. So we need to care about the temperature first. Of course, we need to care about the rain season or not rain season, because in the rain season too will grow very higher. Yeah, many people say that, but actually it's because of the temperature will be down in the rain season, so grow higher. If it's not a rain season, but we do the watering too, so you don't need to care about that. It's harder to tell when is a good timing, so no one can know. As I explained you, it will be different by the areas. For example, if you live in Alaska and someone living in Hawaii and they cut the same timing, the same day, and it grows in 2 weeks later, it grows the same. Do you think so? It's not. It will be different. So you have to care about your area's temperatures. And you need to care about the size of the pines too. If you have a small pine, or maybe 10 inches or less, you like to have a very small buds for that one, because the tree is very small. But if you have a large tree like 60 inches tall, I think you will need slightly larger buds than larger trees. If you have two sizes of trees, and the large trees and small trees, it's good to trimming the large trees first. Maybe 2 weeks later, you try to cut the small trees, so then you can make a bud in that tree size and this tree size. If you cut in different timing, you can get a good bud still. And you need to care about the weather of that year. So this year in Japan, 2020, normally we're doing this in the middle of July. This year, the Japanese rain season is too long, and around the 20th of July is still not so hot for doing that. It may be 26 degrees around that, so I couldn't cut it. So I did in just end of the July. This year I've cut the shohin size in the end of the July. It's around 25 to the end of the July. It is different by the years, so you have to care about that. If you think cutting season is coming, you care about the temperatures and find a good timing. But you can estimate the timing by watching the past weather data. So you go to the database with the weathercast and you can check it, you will know. And it is good to keep the record too. When you do the cutting, you record it, what day of what year you cut, and 2 weeks later it becomes like this, and 1 month later it becomes like this. When you think the buds becomes too big for that tree, maybe you'll try 1 week faster than this year for the next year. And you think it becomes too short, maybe you can try faster next year. So you better to keep the record too. And these days I recommend to use family album apps of the smartphones. If you're searching apps, there's a family album which you can post your kids and your daughter and son's picture, and they start to have a date. It will have a date on that picture, and you can comment it like today we go to a grandmother's house, or today we go to the sea for swimming. That kind of album, there is apps in the smartphone. You name the son's name like a black pine, and your daughter's name will be maybe a maple, and you can post the black pine, and you comment that today you cut the buds. And 2 weeks later, you also post the trees, and it becomes like this, and you keep the record. I recommend it because you can watch with the data, and a few years later, you can keep the records. This is very good to do, I think. In a same tree, but there will be small buds and big buds if it's not completely finished. When we do it in the material and it grows very first, there will be short leaves on the very low side, and there will be large leaves on a very high place. There's a method to control these leaves forces to make it equal. This is called nido mekiri in Japanese. And nido mekiri is meaning of cutting in two different timing. First, you cut the small buds, and 2 weeks later when you see the small buds have a new one. When you can see it, they cut the strong one so in that timing. So when the small buds cutting and growing and cut the strong one, it grows very first. Small one will be slow, strong one will be first, and when it goes to the same size and its temperature becomes 36, the growth stops in the same place. Then you can make your same sizes buds in one tree, so you can control it by this. This method is very useful making large trees like shohin size or dahi size. Let's say it's around 60 inches high or higher than that. This is good method. But for small trees like shohin size, mini size, I don't do that because shohin trees don't have that kind of differences. This is good to do in differences very different. In a shohin size, it's not so different, almost same, but it's slightly different. In these trees, there are different methods to control the power. We can control by the leaves amount you keep in that trees. When you cut the bud, I am saying that you leave only 4 or 5 leaves in one bud, but in a weak bud, you can keep more than 5, maybe 6 or 7. For small buds, you keep only 3 or around that. The leaves becomes very small and power will be pushed down and becomes very small buds. And if you have many leaves, power will be go there and you have a big bud still. So this is good to control in a small bonsai and shohin bonsai. That's it. This is what I know about the black pine sport cutting. So how is it? If you have any questions, please tell me at the comment. And if you want to feel something and you comment me, I'm very glad. I'm always watching the comment. If you like it, please subscribe, give me likes, and share to SNS. Everything is welcome. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching this time. See you next time.